All right, we're correcting 2-7. Make sure if you have questions, you're either putting them into the chat or shouting them out for me so I can help you out with those. Uh-oh, somebody's still waking up.
Miss Triplet,
Yes.
I can't see the bottom of the page for number 11. Thank you.
You're welcome. So if you missed yesterday, remember I record all of these lessons. So if you go into your lessons in Otis and then go to Unit 2 Math, you'll be able to find the lesson from yesterday. If you're still a little unsure about your associative and commutative property, or if you missed the math lesson from yesterday, you can go there and read about it, and not read about it, but listen to the lesson just like you would be in class. And that way you can figure out what you missed from yesterday. And that's the same thing for benchmark. The benchmark lessons are in there. I think, oh, the read aloud is there also, but I think that's about it. Oh, writing. Writing is also there from yesterday. Okay, so all of those are in your lessons. I always upload our recorded videos to our lessons. They're also all on my YouTube page. If you just went there. All right.
Okay, but there you go.
Any questions on this first part?
I'm not done.
Give you just another minute and then I'm going to switch it up. All right, I don't see any questions about the math in the comments, so I'm going to switch it up. Here's the back side. Like I said, I forgot to finish my math homework. I only did the last one. The main part to the stretch your thinking one is that you needed to have decimals and fractions in your equations, okay? They wanted decimals and fractions in your equations. It didn't matter what they add up to. That wasn't the important part. The important part was that you were showing the commutative property, right? The one where the order doesn't matter. So 4 and 68/100 plus 2 and 67/100, I can flip-flop those and do 2 and 67/100 plus 4 and 68/100. Answer doesn't matter, but decimals and fractions showing the commutative property. And then for the other one, the associative property, you're just same exact numbers on both sides, some decimals, some fractions, and you're just moving your parentheses. Okay, just moving your parentheses. I see a question on number 1. Number 1 said Trent is making a week's worth of after-school snacks for himself and his sister. That's awfully nice of Trent. He uses 1 1/5 cups of mixed nuts and 2 3/4 cups of granola. How many cups did he use in all? So we're adding on that one. So 1 1/5 plus 2 3/4, adding. I need to find that common denominator. In this case, let me slide this over so you guys can still see answers. In this case, it's going to be 20, right? Because since they have unlike denominators, I can't just add them. 5 times 4 is 20. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 3 times 5 is 15. I can add those now. 4 plus 15 is 19 over 20. 2 plus 1 is 3. So 3 and 19/20 cups. Oops. Okay, so that one is just adding. Number 2, Shannon walked 4 7/8 miles and ran 3.5 miles during the week. How much farther? So how much farther? So that means we're going to be subtracting. So 4 7/8 minus 3 1/2. Common denominator, 2 goes into 8, so I can use 8 as my denominator. 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4, so 7 minus 4 is 3 over 8. 4 minus 3 is 1. So 1 3/8 miles. Okay. And then number 9, there was a question on. Oh, we're just straight up subtracting on number 9. So I can't do 3 take away 6, so I have to borrow. 3 is going to become 13. 6 is going to become a 5. 13 take away 6 is 7. 5 take away 7, can't do, have to borrow again. 15 take away 7, though, is 8. 6 take away 1 is 5. 0 take away 2, can't do, I have to borrow. 10 take away 2 is 8, and then I've got my 6. Okay, those were 1, 2, and 9. Any other questions on page 40? You can either shout it out or put it in the chat for me. All right, hopefully we're feeling pretty good about adding and subtracting decimals. We are going to switch it up a little bit today, and we're going to move into rounding of decimals. So rounding, a lot easier than rounding of fractions, that's for sure. So let's take a look at our student activity book. I'm on page 53. If you could join me on page 53 in your student activity book, please. So we start off with a number changed to 12 6/10 after it was rounded. Tell what place, or tell to what place was the number rounded. Explain how you know. They kind of jump in the middle of rounding decimals, really. I wish they would have taken it a little bit slower, but you did do some rounding of decimals last year, so this is a little bit of a review. But one thing to keep in mind is if I had a number such as 12 58/100, and if I said round that number to the nearest 10th place, here's my 10th place. I'm going to look behind that number and there's an 8. What is that 8 going to do to the 5?
It's going to round it up to 60.
It's going to make that 5 become a 6. Yes, because remember, if the number behind is 5 or greater, it makes this number go up. If it's 4 or lower, it stays the same. But this 8 is going to make the 5 become a 6. Now, I can put my 0 here, right? Because that's the way we learned it when we don't have decimals, that we put zeros in those other places. But remember what we've talked about decimals? Is this 0 necessary? It's not, right? I don't have to have a 0 there because this number is the same as this number. Those are equal. So the kind of tricky part here, the hint to when they're asking this question, to what place was the number rounded? Well, if it's a decimal, it was rounded to whatever that last digit is. What place is that 6 in? Type it in the chat for me. What place is that 6? Is it the ones? Is it the tens? Is it the hundredths? Is it the tenths? Thousandths, maybe? All right. Oh, we might need to go back to our place value chart, okay? Let's think about this. So, oh, I don't have room really on here. Let me make this number 463.281, we'll say. Okay. So this 4 is in what place value position, guys? Just shout it out.
Hundreds.
Hundred.
Hundreds.
Hundreds. There's no THS. It's just the straight up hundreds place. Okay. What about my 6? What place is the 6 in?
Tens.
The tens place. Yes. The 6 is in the tens place. What place is the 3?
Ones place.
1. Yes. And then I have my decimal. So we know that. Moving to the left from our decimal, we have the ones, and then the tens, and then the hundreds, and then the thousands, and then the 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, right? And then we go on and on and on in that same pattern. Let's go to the right of our decimal now, okay? To the right of our decimal. What place value position is that 2 in?
Tenths.
The tenths. Yes, we have that THS on the end. THS. That THS, again, is our signal that we are to the right of the decimal point. The tenths place comes right after the decimal. What place value position is that 8 in?
Hundredths.
Yes, the hundredths place. Again, it's spelled just like 100, but we have to add that THS to the end. How about that 1? What place value is that 1 in?
Thousands.
Thousand.
Thousands. Yes. And if I added another digit, what would that be in?
Millions.
What comes after 1,000 if I'm going the other direction?
10,000.
10,000.
Thousands.
10,000.
100,000.
10,000 was my next place. But all of this was meant to show you what is one place over from the decimal.
10.
The 10th place. This 6 is one place over from the decimal. What place value is that 6 in?
Tens.
In the 10th place.
No.
To the 10th place. Okay, Camden, did you have a question? All right, we rounded it to the 10th place. We know that because the 10th place is the last digit it's showing us. So let's look at this next one, 3 2500ths. What place value position is my last digit in? What is that 5 in?
100.
100.
Hundredths.
Some of you should have maybe copied
Hundreds.
the part up here. It is in the 100th place, right? 2 places to the right of the decimal is our 100th place. This number was rounded to the nearest 100th. We know that because that's the last digit they're showing us. Okay. Ooh, how about this next one? A number was changed to 193 after it was rounded. To what place was the number rounded? What do you think about this one?
It's different because it doesn't have a decimal.
You're right. Well, it does. The decimal's just hiding right there. Right? It's at the very end.
It's to the left of the decimal.
Is it the
So, could this have been rounded to the nearest hundreds place? No, because if it was rounded to the nearest hundreds, my answer would have been 200. Could it have been rounded to the tens? No, because then I wouldn't have a 3 here if I was rounding it to the tens place. Could I have rounded it to the ones place?
Yes.
Yes, this was rounded to the nearest ones place because everything after that 3 isn't there. We don't need it. All right, Now let's practice some rounding. I kind of wish that this page was set up in reverse from how we just did it. We are going to round to the nearest whole number. When they say the nearest whole number, they mean the ones place. Okay? Because anything behind that decimal is no longer a whole number. It's only a part of a number. So if we're going to the nearest whole number, that's the ones place. So these steps I still do when I'm rounding, okay? And I'm way older than you guys are, and I've been doing math a lot longer than you guys have. So I would suggest that you guys still follow these same steps when you are rounding, okay? It's not that I need to do them in order to know how to round. It's that I do it to make sure I'm doing it correctly. So the steps are, first thing you want to do is to underline the digit you're rounding to. In this case, the ones place. So I want to underline whatever digit is in the ones place. Did you do that in your book? I hope so. I just asked you to.
Yes.
Second thing I do is I always draw my little arrow to the number behind it, because that's the number that's going to determine what is happening to the number I underlined. Okay, so I underlined my 1. I look back at my 7. Is 7 5 or greater?
Yes.
Greater.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is that do to my 1?
Change it to a 2.
Change it.
Change it to a 2. Is that my answer? Am I done?
No. You
No.
have to put the rest
No.
of the numbers.
Yes.
3.
You have
I
to
forgot
put
my
the
three.
tens place. You have to put the tens place.
Yes, I need the tens place on there too. So anything to the left of the underlined number stays the same. Okay, and then I'm rounding my underlined number. Let's look at number 5. Again, underline the ones place. We look behind it, there's a 4. What is that 4 gonna do to my 6?
Stay the same.
It's gonna
Make
make
it
stay.
round.
Gonna make it stay the same.
Yes, yes. It's gonna make it stay the same. It's gonna stay a 6, okay? Again, I'm gonna underline my ones place. There's a 1 in there. I look behind it, it's a 5. What is that 5 gonna do to that 1?
Make it
Gonna
a
round it
2.
up.
Round it up.
Gonna round it up to
Oh.
a 2.
And then anything to the left of what I underlined stays the same. So my answer is 12. Okay? Next one, they're trying to get tricky on us. Underline the ones place. I look behind it, there's a 9. What's that 9 gonna do to my 0?
Round it up.
Just it up
Round the 0 to 1.
round it to
Round
1.
it up to a 1. There's my answer. Do the last 2. Put your answers in the chat. Do the last 2 on your own. Put the answers in your chat. Looking good. All right, so underline my ones place. I look behind it, there's a 1. That 1 is not going to do anything to my 9, so my answer is going to be 319. Next one, underline my ones place, look behind it, there's a 0. Does this 8 and 6 matter for anything? No, they're just taking up space. All I care about is my ones place and the digit behind it. What's that 0 going to do to my 9? Absolutely nothing. So that number is still a 9. Okay? So again, when they say round to the nearest whole number, that means which place value position?
Ones, please.
The ones.
The ones place. The nearest whole number is the ones place. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so now we're gonna round to the nearest hundredth. It's got that TH, so I know it's gonna be to the right of my decimal. So I'm gonna start by underlining that place value position, the hundredth, tenths, hundredths. It's that second spot over from the decimal. What is that 1 gonna do to my 5?
Nothing.
Stay the
Nothing.
same.
Stay the same. Just like that. Okay. Underline my hundredths place. I have an 8. Look behind it. It's a 6. What is that 6 going to do to my 8?
Turns it into a 9.
Bump it up to a 9. Everything to the left stays the same. My underlined digit is becoming a 9. You guys remembering how to round? Is this coming back to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do number 12. My 100. Ooh, we got tricky again. Hundredths place is a 9. I look behind it. There's a 4. What's that 4 going to do to the 9?
Stay the
Nothing.
same.
Stay the
Stay
same.
the same.
Stay the same. Yes, I was looking at it wrong. I thought it was going to round it up. Because then it gets really tricky when that happens, huh? 4. There we go. Let's do one more together. So hundredths place has a 0. Behind that 0 is a 2. What's that 2 going to do to that 0?
It's gonna stay
Stay
the
the,
same.
stay the same.
Stay the same. Can I write my answer like that?
Yes.
No. I mean, yes.
No, because you're not.
I don't need that 0, right? I don't need that 0. That 0 is doing nothing. Because remember, again, I could add zeros all day long, and it's not going to change my value. So I really don't need that 0. You can put it on there, right? You can use a little extra lead if you want and write it. But if it's a 0 at the end of a decimal, you don't need it. Now, if we're on the other side of the decimal, we do need it. All right, 14, 15, you do them. Put your answers in the chat. I gave you the tough ones to do. Good. Oh, they can't trick you guys. You guys got this. Awesome. I've got a 1 in the hundredths place. I look behind it. There's a 5. That 5 is going to bump that 1 up. I'm going to copy down everything the same until I get to my underline. My underline is now becoming a 2. Okay, this next one I thought was going to trick you guys, but you guys got it. I have a 9 in my hundredths place. I look behind it. There's another 9. That's going to make this 9 become a 10, which is going to make this 9 become a 10, which that 1 is now going to carry over to my 8. So 4,259. Do I need that decimal and 3 zeros, 2 zeros, 10 zeros, 27 zeros?
No.
No, I don't need them. 4,259 works just fine. All right, last few. We're only going to do a couple of this last group. The nearest 10th. So again, you guys got to know your place value positions. If you don't know those, you need to study them and memorize them and learn them because they're not going away, friends. So my 1 is in the 10th place, right? 10th place is right next to that decimal. What's that 6 going to do to my 1?
It's gonna round it up to 2.
Round up.
Make it a 2. Underline my 10th place is behind it is a 5. What's that 5 going to do to my other 5?
It's gonna round it up to
Round up.
Make it a 6. Underline my 10th place, behind it is a 7. What's that 7 going to do to my 6?
round it up to 7.
Round it to a 7.
Round it up to a 7. You guys do 19, 20, 21.
We put our answers in the chat.
Yes, sir. Here's my last three answers. 8/10, 29 2/10, and 2/10. Some of you grabbed the wrong place value position on your rounding, so just make sure that you're underlining the digit in that place value position, okay? That's what's gonna help you make sure that you're in the right spot. All right, let's take a look at the other side. So this side was just a review of how to round. Now we use rounding for estimating. Estimating is when we round and then add or subtract. So they want us to estimate the sum or difference. So $17.25. What's that close to? What do you guys think? What would you round that to? $17.25.
$17.
Put it just to $17. Yep, you could even go to $20. I would take either one of those. How about $11.79?
$12 or
You can put it
$10.
at
$12 or $10.
or $10, yep. And then this is subtracting. So there is kind of a big difference. Do you see that? There's a big difference in what our answers are depending on what place value position we round it to. So just make sure you're keeping that in mind when you're doing your rounding, okay? How about $8.90? Is that closer to $8 or $9?
$9.
$9.
$9. $5.80. Is that closer to $5 or $6?
$6.
$6. We're adding this time, 15. Okay. $3.52. Is that closer to $3 or $4?
$4.
$4. $1.54. What's that closer to?
$2.
$2.
$2. Subtract. I've got $2 left. You guys do 25, 26, 27. Let's see that.
Are we supposed to put our answers in the chat?
No, you don't need to. You can, because I'm going to do them also. So just check my work, make sure I'm doing them correctly. How'd we do? Do you guys agree with my answers?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. We're not going to do a lot of the work on these next three, but I do want to read through them and talk about them here for a minute, okay?
How would you
So-
write number? How would you write?
What's that?
How would you write number 22? Would you write 5, 10?
So we did it two different ways. We rounded to 17 and 12, and we rounded to 20 and 10, just to kind of show the difference in, like, depending on what place value you round to, you can come to a big difference in your answer.
So you would write that exact thing right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's look at 28. Rick thinks the total cost of an $89.95 soccer goal and a $9.99 soccer ball is $90.94. Right now, just reading that, I already know he's got something wrong, because $89 for the goal, and he thinks the total with a ball is going to be $90.94. Write your estimate of the total cost, then write the exact cost. So this part right here, we don't really need for the problem, right? That's some extra information. Okay, that's for this part down here when we're talking about whether or not he was reasonable. we need to think, okay, 89.95 plus 9.99. What could I round those to?
10
You
and
could round
Ninety.
the 89 to 90.
I would do 90 plus 10, right? Doesn't 89.95 round to 90 and 9.99 rounds to 10? Okay. So this problem would want you to do your estimate and then find your exact cost. So really add 89.95 and then 9.99. Is Rick's answer reasonable that it's going to be $90.94?
No.
No, it's not. It's going to be $100 for them, right? Marty has 20 and 1500 meters of red and blue fabric. Of that, 9 and 28 meters is red, the rest is blue. Marty calculated that she has 10 and 8700 meters of blue fabric. Is her answer reasonable? So first, let's think about this. We want to figure out how much of the fabric is blue, right? Because we know she has this much and we know this much is red. So what am I going to do with those two numbers? Would I add or subtract? I would subtract, yes. Let's estimate first. What can I round 20 and 1500s to?
20.
20 and 9.
And 9 and 2800s would round to 9. 20 minus 9 is 11. Is 10 and 8700s close to 11?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say that that is a reasonable answer. Okay. And the last one, in a video racing game, Lee completed 1 lap in 47 and 3200 seconds. Donna completed 1 lap in 45 and 4100 seconds. Here's that tricky question. Which lap was faster? Who's faster, Lee or Donna?
Donna.
Lee.
Oh, I heard one of each. So, what's that?
Donna.
Dawn.
Donna.
Donna.
So you're completing a lap. If you want to be the fastest lap, is your time going to be the greater time or the less time?
Less.
It's the smaller amount of time, right? The faster you are, the lower your time is. So really, the faster lap is 47 and 3200ths.
It tries to trick you.
It does. The timing ones, yep, those are pretty tricky. Okay. Estimate how many seconds faster. Well, I would do, oh wait, I did that wrong. I'm sorry, I was looking at it wrong. I wasn't looking at that part, I was just looking at the decimal part. You're right, Donna, 45 and 4100ths was faster. I apologize. So if I'm gonna estimate, I would take my 47 and 3200ths and probably just make it 47. 45 and 4100ths, I'd round that to 45 for a 2-second difference. Okay, and then you could solve it and find your exact answer. Okay. Any questions on estimating? All right, don't leave me. You're not allowed to leave me. You are going to go in just a minute. I'm going to put you in individual breakout rooms and you're going to do a quick quiz 2. And then when you finish the quick quiz, you have your math homework, page 41 and 42 to work on, okay? So when you finish in your breakout room, you may go ahead and come back to the general session and let me know that you finished your quick quiz. And then you can go. But you need to stay in the breakout room until your quick quiz is finished. And then make sure you come back and tell me that it's done and that you are ready to log off.